What's up, boys, grills, everything in between, and welcome back to Golden Chips. I'm, of course, here with the homie George. How you doing, bud? I haven't talked to you since actually last podcast because our work holidays perfectly coincide with each other.
They did pretty much did. Like I came back and you like didn't exist at that point. So yeah, I ain't seen you in a while. But no, I'm doing all right. How are you doing, man? How's it going?
Yeah, it's been weird because obviously they have to use up holidays for the last financial quarter before it all refreshes for the next year.
That's it.
Because obviously businesses, for some reason, they work 3 months out of whack to the rest of the year, and that just bothers me. I don't know why. It feels weird.
No one wanted to book holiday because of no one had anywhere to go. So there's no point.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had so much holiday used up.
Like, I've got a random Monday off because I had holiday left over.
Yeah, it's just there's nowhere to go.
No, exactly. But I am good. Regardless. I did go on some walks. Me and my mate ventured back to our old school. And the changes in that were mental. Like, I think we were neighbours in sort of where we went. There's just so much going on. There's like 3 sports centres all in the same development of like school ground. It is mental.
Yeah, what's with it with schools is that always seems to be they have all of the big developments, all of the big changes once you leave. Yeah. Like both of the schools that I went to, they added like all sorts. Yeah. Like they added a sort of gazebo thing. They added swimming pool renovations, and then my secondary school they added completely new buildings, and it just baffles me.
And I saw that build, right? My school's gone, oh my god, that's a sick build. Let's have one ourselves. Even to the point where they've like copied the text in a lot of ways. You know, it is an absolute mental rebuild. And the fencing, they fence so much off now, it's ridiculous.
I know, that's crazy.
I guess there's a reason behind it. I just hope they fixed, like, I remember there was a computer room and oh my god, it was awful. Like everything was so slow, clunky. Christ, you know, it was worse than like Windows 95. That's how bad this was.
Oh no, but that makes me crease up.
Yeah, and to add to more salt to the wound, womb. What?
Close enough, I guess.
Wound. To add more salt to the wound, it was what? It was a old toilet. So that says a lot.
No. Did it still have all the tiling and stuff
in the corridor? No. So they completely stripped it. But it was more like, say you were lining up for class, you wouldn't have. There wouldn't be a door there. You would have it would sort of be like like just a wall sort of cut. It was really weird. Not a wall
just like a cutaway, but like almost.
You walk in, you walk forward, walk left, or walk in, walk right, and then you're at the toilets. It's really, really awful. So I'm glad they got rid of that. I don't think that was that long. I think that was there like a year. Me being there, like year 8, it got changed, but. Yeah, grim. Really grim.
Yeah, I get it in terms of the fencing. Like they had to beef up security measures across all schools because I remember one time where just like a random drunk dude did I never tell you this?
Oh really?
Okay.
No, I don't think you told me this.
Okay,
no, I don't think you told me this.
I'm actually surprised I never told you this. This was the talk of the town for a good couple weeks. But I think the reasoning behind at least my old school, because they fenced up pretty much the entire perimeter, is because there was one day.
There was a lot, I remember.
Yeah, I remember this. I was there on the day that it happened. I didn't get to interact with them personally, but this random drunk dude. So for context, we have like obviously the main gate where cars and everything go in and students walk in and out of, but we also had a side gate where it was right next to a bus stop. And
yes, that's the one.
It's like we had a bus stop right next to the side gate of the school.
That was opposite. Yeah, opposite. I know where that was.
Yeah, and like this random drunk dude just decided, I'm just gonna walk in. I'm just gonna talk to some of the students. Like,
to be fair, that was like a good shortcut for like the students, but I mean, the fact that it was always open was a bit sketchy.
Yeah, that was they never opened it again after that.
It's like another school. There is a school that I've gone there frequently, purely on the fact that it's always open and it's a prime location for when my mates want to do like skate sessions. It's a beautiful place, and the people when you go in there, they don't actually really care that you're in there. They just either go like, "Oh, may you leave," and you go,
"Yeah." Just a lot of the times they're indifferent.
Mate, do a kick flip.
Yeah, do a sweet flip, bro.
A lot. Yeah, do something, man. But the security in a lot of places, school-wise, you'd think would be better, but.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
It was such a surreal experience. For like a good week, I couldn't believe afterwards that it
Was he
happened.
like knocking on the windows, like,
Oh yeah, it's like dude literally
"Excuse
he literally looked like he had just like come out of a rough and tumble at a bar or something, which is convenient because
Jeez.
there's like a restaurant slash bar like right opposite or like
Yeah,
a
opposite
few
actually.
roads
That's
down.
true. Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like he had just come out of this place, piss drunk, middle of
God,
the day,
how
and
bad.
just
Yeah, of course.
waltzed into the school, started talking to the
Lordy.
students. Obviously, it was awkward as anything, and eventually he had to get
Yeah.
escorted out. Just,
Oh
I
my
understand
God.
why they had to fence things
Oh,
up now.
oh.
Oh, jeez.
I know. No, to be fair though, when we went on our adventures and looking, was it bad that every like fence that we saw, we were like, can we get under that? I can get under that. That's a flaw. That
You
I
can
can get
sneak
under
under.
that.
You can get around
Planning
that.
how we're going to break into the
Yeah.
next school.
Mm.
There is a really bad flaw actually in one of your builds. As you basically, it's in the main car park, and basically you climb on top. You can literally climb on top of this wall and just climb over the fence. But they've got gaps in between, so if someone's fit enough, they can go through that bit. But you
Oh,
can,
yeah, I know
it's got,
exactly what you mean.
the fencing where it's right, yeah. So but the fencing though, where it's like it's not wire fencing, but you've got like rods in between, like
Yeah,
every so often.
it's like
just
you've got the wire
together,
fencing,
welded.
but it's got the beams in
Yeah.
between.
Right, yeah. So then you can use that to climb on top of that bit, and then sort of give yourself leverage to just climb up on like the normal height, low fences. What's the point in locking it? You can just climb over it. Don't do this. Don't start climbing.
Yeah, can we just say we don't condone?
I'm just saying.
Let's just specify we don't condone breaking into school grounds on any.
I should say I don't do. It was just something I observed.
Yeah, this is purely hypothetical. So let's say I did.
yeah. But let's say I did that. No, I didn't. All right.
Let's be honest. We all did something in school that we weren't proud to admit.
Oh my God!
Like we all did so many things that we just look back and we're completely embarrassed about. Like, what was your worst? I'm curious to hear your worst.
Oh God! Oh, what was my worst? I got away with a lot considering. It's not even that bad. Like, I got away it is because it's just stupid. It was really dumb. And it did get me into quite a lot of shit. It's the first time I've actually ever told anyone this. Really, anyone listening that knows me, I'm a dodgy guy. I'm not.
Live life on the wild side, I say.
I definitely did at the time, apparently. No, but I was in ICT class and I was doing something on like water sports or something. It's very vague, I think, in my mind. Sort of like I know bits and bobs of it. And my mate at the time, who was like, he's so funny, love him. Every so often I see him out when we could, out clubbing and that. So I just like bump into him. He's always drunk. He's always like, come out to the clubs, George. I'm like, I'm not in no mindset to go clubbing. He's like, oh, that's all right, mate. I'll look after you. It's like, that's not the issue.
That's not the problem, yeah.
He was like, oh, send an email. Go on, send an email to this person's kayak thing. I don't know why I was on a kayak website. So I just sent an email saying like, why in the bloody hell are your kayaks so expensive? What is wrong with you?
Oh my
or something
God!
like you Mormon.
No,
this is someone's personal. I don't know why I did it, but we both just had the spontaneous decision to do it, and I was on the bad end of the one sending it. And obviously, he sent back to the school and was like, "Yo, by the way, someone sent this from your domain. May you want to investigate it?" And obviously, they found out it was my email because it basically had my email on it from school.
You never want to use a school email for that because that instantly is going to bite you.
I learned my lesson.
Like, if you're going to do stuff like that, do it properly. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
but
don't do it again. Don't do it, but at least do it properly. Do a proper job.
Fair, I did write an email back to him saying I apologise. He never responded. I did also write a letter to my school, the person that was like not my school, it was like the head of my year group.
Yeah, I wrote a letter to him, head of group, head of key stage.
Yeah, like I apologise. He called me in for a talk with the other person, just said like, it's fine, we've dealt with it, but just like, firstly, why, and secondly, whatever the reason, just be careful next time, guys. I really dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah, you seriously
I do remember
dodged a bullet there.
Like, informed and everything. So it was a bit of an awkwardness because I did get home and like confronted me about it and had more of a discussion with my mum more than the school, and I think that's what also helped. Like the school knew that was going to be the case anyway.
Yeah.
But definitely lesson learned. Like
Mm.
I don't know why. I mean, what year was that? I think that was year. How old? It was year 10, so I should have known better.
That's
but
year
hey,
10, so that's...
it is what it is.
What grade is that in American?
Uh,
8th? No.
no idea, mate.
Is it 8th,
no
or
idea.
is it... I think that's the other way. I think it's the other way around or something. Either way, look, it's like whatever year 10 in UK schools is in American, you can do the Googling.
Do the math.
Do the math.
Do the math. Do the math.
But nothing strikes fear into a school kid like having their mum waiting for them post-school phone call. That strikes a unique form of fear into you.
There was actually another incident that was quite funny. Nothing to do with me this time. But like, the only way I can describe it is like the Batman. Which one is it? I think it might be. It's got to be the one. It's got to be a Dark Knight with Joe. But he's like, it's the interrogation one where he's like, "Where is she?"
Yeah, the interrogation scene. The interrogation scene in Dark Knight.
And that's all I could remind myself of, like just slamming on the table, like, "Where's Harvey?" Because basically what happened was someone. Again, it involved computers because that was like, obviously, it basically, my mate, well, we say mate, someone we got on with, sort of tampered with some of someone's files or something.
Ooh.
And yeah, like all he did was change names on it, but they were like typical schoolboy names like penis and bum and gay. It's
think every crass high school or secondary school joke. It was probably a file name.
100%. Yeah. So he changed it though, and obviously they found out, but then they couldn't work out who it was, so they started to talk to people that they knew were associated, but in this sort of like, nah, he did it, and for some reason my name got brought up as well as many others of my mates at the time, and I remember being like interrogated, that's how I put it, because it was so stupid. Like I got called in after like what we had review. It was like something we did at the end of the school day. I got called in during that, and I was being spoken to, and it was like, it was like this was the head of the form again. I think this was after so we were already a bit tense, but I got on with him all right. And he went, I'm just gonna give you one word, mate. I'm gonna give you one word. I was like, okay. And he goes SD1. That was the name of the computer room. I just went, in my head, I was like, that's not a word, but okay. And
I love it, that's the thought. No fear,
it's
just
not a word. But
that's not a word.
No, that's not a word. He was like, SD1. I was like, okay, yeah, it's a computer room of ours. Why? He goes, don't know, what were you doing 2 days ago? I was like, I was at the playground. Like, where's this going? Like, I wasn't here, in SD1 at all, but we have at certain incidents hang there when it's, bit crappy weather outside.
Yeah.
But on Monday, I was at the playground. He goes, and this is the shocker. He goes, Monday? Huh? Monday? Huh? So you do know something then, don't you? You Monday? I was like, you just told me Monday. I was like, yo, chill. Today's Wednesday. You literally said 2 days ago. It doesn't take a genius to work out that then means the day's Monday, doesn't it? And he's got up at this point, like he's proper like towering over me.
He's
and
poised.
Goes, yeah, and I'm like, sit down, sit. That's all right. In like my head, like that's how.
Yeah,
sort of
it's like why the aggression?
And
like,
he goes,
there's something going on.
Right,
here.
And then he goes, yeah, right, yeah, no, that's a fair point. Well, anyway, write down what you remember, and I'll come back and collect the paper. And I was like, so you saying I haven't done anything? He goes, well, no, you clearly haven't. I was like, yeah. So what's the point in all of this, and why am I writing my part down? But I'll do it, and I obviously did.
Yeah.
But it was just a really weird scenario because it was that like 2 days ago thing. Like he was really fetching and really wanting to accuse me of that. And I was like, dude, you literally said 2 days ago, and today is like on that day. Like today was Wednesday. Like what you expect me to to go? Does that mean it was a Sunday? No. 2 days ago would have made it a Monday.
Yeah, you can tell that they're clutching at straws with that kind of stuff. Or the other thing that the other thing they do is I'm not sure if this ever happened to you, but I remember one time that someone's like, it's a similar situation, like someone's files got tampered with, or like a big project, someone lost all of their files, but they managed to convince the teachers that it was a malicious act rather than them accidentally deleting it, which has actually happened.
Right.
But the other thing that they did is they'll throw in bait questions. So it's like, I mean, to bring up an example, it's like if you've got if you got flowers for someone for Valentine's Day, like if you had a partner, you get flowers, and it's like, oh, and you got me the card as well, knowing full well that you didn't get them a card, you just got them flowers, like to try and get you in that position of guilt. It was very much like that. I specifically remember they were like, first off, they talked to everyone in the class. Like they had a full-on talk before the lesson started. It's like, right, this has happened, please come forward, or the whole class is going to be in detention for the lunch hour. So obviously when no one came forward, they started singling out what they would call the tech-savvy people. So there was like a group of 3 or 4 of us in the class who often hung out together, who were considered like relatively tech-savvy, like they knew what they were doing. So by extension, they thought, part of that group? Yeah. And they all took us out of this room, took us to the IT office, like the admin office, and just like when it came to my turn, I was absolutely bricking it. I was 3rd out of the 4, and I was absolutely bricking it because I saw these 2 guys, like my 2 mates, will come before me and then just come out looking completely blank, just not wanting to talk about it because obviously they were intimidated as anything. So when I'm going in, like I was already anxious as anything. So I go into this room, I sit down, talk with the head of IT, and they say to me, it's like, what have you been working on? So I explained it to them, like what the current project was, what I was working on, and they threw in and you were working on this as well, like in direct reference to their project, the project that was deleted. And I sort of I felt like I'd dodged a bullet because I danced around it. I don't think that I got off scot-free, but I danced around it because I was a bit confused and I was too socially oblivious to pick up on it. But it's like these, like at every turn they tried to bait me into me into guilt. And I just think it's so underhanded. Like they later came out, once they figured out that, like once they went through like audit logs and things like that, once they figured out that it was it was a deletion of their own making rather than anyone being malicious. Because this kid, he wasn't friendly. He wasn't very friendly with any of the class. Right. So naturally he would have made a few enemies or just like not rubbed people the right way. He tried to play that to his advantage, and like when that obviously backfired, he got in trouble for obviously falsifying a story, and like we actually got an apology in the end because they were just trying to resolve it. Like I understand it from both sides. Like they were trying to resolve it, but we got an apology because obviously they were trying to resolve it to the point where they were getting rash and coming to their own conclusions. Right. But it's such a weird thing. Jesus. I mean, it's not as bad as one time I got caught on the school roof. I'm just going to leave that there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would ask out of play, but you know what? There's no point. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll just accept the fact that happened.
Yep. Okay. I'm just gonna leave that one hanging for now. No, let's get to the main topic. I know you were telling me before this that you didn't manage to get the Game Boy that you wanted. Like we talked about it on the last episode. You didn't manage to get the Game Boy, but something piqued my interest.
I don't know if I've done. Go on. Oh, sorry. I was going to literally say I don't know if I've done an idiot here though, and literally I could have got it. I think it would have worked out to be about just under 100 for it. But then I was like, I can't bother. So I bought one for 139, and it's good, but it's definitely one that has been like someone's got the casing, like they've bought it.
They've retro modded it,
like a little independent business, and they've put it all together. It's solid. Don't get me wrong, but there's certain bits that just like, for example, the right bumper clicks better than the left, and it's like it hurts a little, but it's not that much of an issue for me. But I think if I got the other one, it would have been legit.
Yeah, it's just enough to take you out at the moment.
Disgustingly, yeah, exactly. But the screen is disgustingly bright. Like it's stunning how bright it is. And if I was to buy, if the Game Boys were still available and you were to buy one today, that's how bright you'd expect the screen to be, and it is stunning. So it is. I'm not faulting it, but I think I probably should have been a bit more persistent with the other one. But hey, I'm happy I've got one now, so I should,
But I mean, something piqued my interest the other day is that I saw a game streaming service, Shadow. They were filing for bankruptcy, and the first thing that popped into my head is Google Stadia. Google Stadia. That was pumped around everywhere, and now it feels like it's just fallen off the face of the earth. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
You
Because
said you wanted to talk about that
yeah,
last
it's
one
been
before
on
we
my
ended.
mind. Yeah, it's been on my mind
Oh
like
god,
since.
it confuses me,
Hmm.
because it's all done through like emulator. I guess it's not even an emulator, but do you know what I mean? Like it's all done through
Yeah, it's
a
like hosted
stream of
elsewhere
sorts,
and then just beamed down to you
which
like
is,
via a stream.
but as from the other conversation from like last week, it's like I don't think I'd like that because
Mm.
that's it's you don't own it. You don't own that game
Yeah.
because you don't have to buy it. Well, you do. Would you have to buy, or is it
Well, for Stadia,
subscription?
you have to buy the subscription to the service, and then you have to buy the games on top of it.
See, that's I guess you could the counter could be that's similar to like Xbox Live and stuff like that.
I guess that
But
is
I
to
think,
a degree.
but I think for me, I'm that snob that does enjoy the disc side to things. So it's just not for me. And what if the servers are down?
Yeah,
In a
that's the main
hypothetical
thing that
world, what
occurs
if
to me.
happens? At
Because
least you can still play games offline on if you own the game and it's on your thing. But if it's working off a server, if the servers are down, oh sorry, Google Stadia is down at the moment. Sorry, we're working on it. What can I do now, sort of thing? I don't know. I'm just thinking like over the top with it, really. But this could exist.
yeah,
That could
no,
have an
that's
issue.
definitely a real view tag. Because Google hasn't exactly got a great track record in terms of keeping projects alive. I mean, there's literally a place called Google Graveyard,
Yeah,
I think, where it just lists all
yeah.
of their canned or cancelled projects.
I mean, if you want to call one of their fallen products, I would probably put it under most of the Google Pixel phones. I
Hmm.
remember I had one at one point. It died. That's it. It died. It just stopped
Nothing
working at
more.
one
They
point.
just decided not to.
No, literally, I still have it, and it doesn't turn on. But then you hold like there's a reboot setting on Android phones, and I don't know. Maybe it was my fault it died. Maybe because I downloaded loads of like films and that on it, and not dodgy films, just films, normal Finding Nemo and stuff. And maybe it was that ruined it because I didn't use a lot of virus protection. Androids aren't prone to being safe if you don't look after them. Either way, though, I've definitely sent it in to get reset, and it still doesn't turn on. So they lied to me and said it was fixed. But point is,
It was
Android
not fixed.
isn't the issue. It was I think the phone.
Yeah.
I'm blaming the phone.
But yeah, I know from talking
It's
about it
yeah,
previously, like on last week, you were very pro ownership in terms of like having games and having like
yeah,
technology that is yours to
definitely.
own, like even for just
Yeah,
like semantic purposes, like for sentimental
yeah,
purposes, just
yeah, yeah,
having
yeah,
that
yeah.
piece of history
Well,
means a
I
lot.
know that the Game Boy I bought has no value behind it because it isn't authentic. But I do have one now that actually is. Okay, it's worth nothing because it's 001, and as I think I discussed with the 101,
Yeah, you
it's
discussed how
not.
that works last time, I think.
Yeah, it's not worth anything. What 001, but maybe it will be over time. But the one I've recently bought it's just a it's like you said, it's a replica. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's like a rester mod.
custom model. It's not like a game pop thing, which were like the really awful LED ones, but it is here's like my take on it, thus brighter screen because it's brighter than 101. The person's like got even a brighter screen somehow. So, but no, I'm still very much in that and I wouldn't want Stadia for me just it's a shame because it's all digital. I just wouldn't want that because you can't you're sort of told what you can play on it as opposed to owning the disc and going this is what I can, this is what I want to play, this is what I'm allowed to play. But with Stadia, because they can't have everything, you're sort of limited, if
Yeah,
that makes
it
sense.
still relies on developers to actually port it to the
Yeah,
platform because it's not like they're
yeah,
just hosting PCs. Like
right.
Stadia is
And
its
that's
own
the thing.
thing, so
I don't
developers
know.
still have to put work in to actually port it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if it's how true this is. A lot of the sort of newer games that are coming out, you don't see it say Stadia as much as you'd want when you really look at it. It's either released by PlayStation, but it's available for everyone. For example, as I think I previously mentioned, I'm very excited for Hogwarts Legacy
Yeah,
to come out next year, because I've been following that. Had it in the back of my mind, like, oh, this is a game that's coming out.
yeah, you've been keeping
When
tabs
will it
on
come
it
out?
as it
Yeah,
develops.
like I remember the developer was meant to be Rocksteady at one point, the ones who did the Batman,
Yeah,
but now it's been
The Arkham
too
games.
much. Yeah. Anyway, so that was it's been on my radar, and so the fact that it's coming out was sick. But I remember when the trailer got released, the teaser, it was on the PlayStation channel on YouTube, but and then IGN obviously picked it up and that, but it's not just for PlayStation. And if it is, I'll be very disappointed. But I don't think it is just PlayStation, because when you look at the end of you look at the official trailer on IGN, it does say like PlayStation and Xbox coming soon to PlayStation, Xbox, but you don't see Stadia. I don't think.
Well, you got to think in the minds of the developer on this one. They're only going to port to a platform where it makes sense to, because they've obviously resources. Yeah. It costs money to port these things and to do the development work to get it on these platforms. And I do think it is a shame, because the technology, this is one thing I'll give Stadia credit for, and all like the game streaming services out there, be that the Shadows, the GeForce Nows, the Stadias, is the technology is really promising. Like the technology behind it, it's essentially like, it feels like magic. I mean, if you get it in the ideal scenario,
I guess it
feels like magic.
Yeah.
Like I've had the luxury of trying GeForce Now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had the luxury of trying GeForce Now way back when. Like, this is years ago, back when it was in really early beta, because I had a copy of Mad Max, but I didn't realize it was Windows only. Like, I was very new to PCs as a concept, let alone how it worked and different platforms and all the rest of it. So when I saw that, like, this new GeForce thing or whatever it was, it's like, oh, it's got the same brand as the graphics in my Mac. It surely would work. And to play on, like, I had this copy of Mad Max, and to play it on my Mac at max settings it was magical. Like, granted, the latency was noticeable, but that's something that matured over time up to release. Like, GeForce Now was in development for years.
Thing of experience from that is, and I'm still not really sure the point personally of it. Not because of digitalness, not because of whatever. Like, it's just, I just don't see why anyone would want to use it, because I'm pretty sure you've got to be in a certain radius of your console anyway. But you can emulate it sort of reminded me, you can emulate the game you're playing from the Xbox onto your phone now using
you can stream it across the local
Xbox
network
app.
Steam's done that. Steam Link. It's like, if you're on the same network, then you can beam your games from your PC, which would actually be running it. You just beam the display to like your phone downstairs. I think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, exactly. It is cool, don't get me wrong. And I did use it at one point. I did, like, some games aren't ready, but I think what went on it? I did it Asia. I did it like late at night, but because I just came across it and I was like, oh, I've got to try this out now. And I connected my controller to the phone and did all that. And it did work. It's pretty mad. I think Mad Max ran on that. That's why it reminded me so much, because obviously that's what I think I played. But yeah, it's a similar sort of thing. It did feel like magic. Like, what the hell is this? Like a high-end game, a AAA platform game on my phone. Literally crazy stuff. But I've never used it since then. Couldn't be bothered. It took too long to set up.
That's one thing we can't fault the services for, is that for all of their flaws, the technology is amazing, because in the ideal conditions, it's a whole new world. But the thing that breaks the immersion for me for these kinds of platforms has to be the pricing. Like, the fact that, in the case of Stadia anyway, the fact that you have to...
How much is it?
I can't remember the actual subscription number by head, but what broke it for me was the fact that you had to get the subscription initially just to use the service, and then on top of that, you had to purchase the games outright, like bespoke to the platform. That's what broke it for me.
Like Xbox, obviously, and like PlayStation. I'm not sure actually for PlayStation. You pay for a subscription, and yes, they try to boost it up, but obviously I think they backed down on that anyway, because they realised how stupid that was. Or the prices they were asking for, at least. But you get private chats, parties, you get messaging, you get benefits. Like I do the Game Pass Ultimate, you get decent benefits from that. You get EA Play on it, all these games that jump and come and go, and Bethesda's now on the Game Pass because of the buyout that they did. So you get a lot for your money, and even if you're paying these amounts and you're paying the extra for thing, the only disappointing thing you'll find is when you've just bought a game and then you realise it's on the Game Pass, or coming to the Game Pass permanently, and be like, oh, damn it. But at least you're getting a lot for other bits as well as that. But I think with Stadia, you are just paying for the access to be able to stream them, so no one else can just go, oh, you know what, I'm gonna start using Stadia, and just anyone can. You've got to be sort of loyal to Stadia.
I mean,
You
in
know?
fairness to Stadia, now there is a free tier. There's like a lower quality free tier.
Oh, okay, I
But
didn't know
for the
that.
longest time, or like essentially the entire lifetime while it was in the public eye, like it
Yeah,
didn't, the free tier didn't
yeah,
get added till much later. Like, but the entire
yeah.
time it was like announced and publicized and the PR machine
Yeah,
was working, it was like the
yeah.
whole business model revolved around like buying the tiers, like buying the pro
Mm.
subscription, which gave you the controller and everything, and then buying
Oh,
the games
okay.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Bloody God. And do you think it's as you said, like, do you think it's dropped off? Do you think like no one really gives it its due as such? It
Hmm.
doesn't get played as much
Well, I
because I
think
haven't
it
seen much
played its
about it
hand. I think
personally.
it's played its hand not too early, but
Mm.
before it could actually showcase itself in a good light. Like we talked about last time, we're both very pro ownership in the sense that we like to own our games outright. We want
Oh,
to have
I
the
definitely
complete
do. Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
And tell you what, this is my confession. This is my confession
Hmm.
to the window. I have never got like any form of game subscription service. Like I haven't even tried Game Pass,
Oh,
despite
wow.
the multiple
Well,
recommendations.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Good on you for it because it's quite easy to sort of. I've had them all. At one point I bought EA Play as its own thing, and I was like, oh nah. Then I was like, I'm not going to buy the Game Pass, but I ended up buying the Game Pass, and now I'm on
mm.
Game Pass Ultimate. So I can't say I haven't like,
Yeah, because I'm
been
definitely
enticed
set
by
in
them.
my
Yeah.
I'm definitely set in my ways because to me, how I play my games or how I choose to play my games is that I'll have a very select set of games that I like to play. Like I'll have
Mm,
five or
yeah.
six, and if that's the case, in my mind, it just makes sense to buy them outright, get the complete
Yeah,
experience
fair
because
enough.
I know
That's
I'm going to
it.
have them forever.
That's the thing. In an ironic way, despite me saying how loyal I will be to buying the games on disc, I think for me, in the stupid opposite, like reverse way,
Yeah,
being able just to have the game because Game Pass says I can is some sort of there. I can have it. That's mine
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But it's not.
I can see it being an
I
eye
have
opener.
access. Yeah, it's something to think about. Just sort of, you can't play every single game on the Game Pass,
Mm.
but you have access to playing every single game on the Game Pass.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely see it more as like
and
a
it is
try before you buy kind of thing, at least in my eyes. Like you can keep playing for the
definitely
Game
in a way it
Pass,
is. Yeah.
sure.
But it has to be on the Game Pass. Like for example, like Sea of Thieves and stuff is now on the Game Pass. And to be fair, if I didn't have the Game Pass, I would have had to have bought Among Us. I know it's only $3.39, but the way I saw it is like, you know what, I had straight access. That was like one of the first things I re-download or downloaded when I got the PC set up. Just because I knew it was on there, and then that sort of gives you hope because then it means all right, now it's going to come to Xbox, which means I have it straight on Xbox. But like you say, you don't own the game. It is like a
Yeah.
trial at the end of the day. It's like a demo because
Mm.
it always says like play on Game Pass, included on Game Pass or buy for however much it's for. But then you also get Game Pass exclusive payments, if that makes sense. So it'd be like was $59.99, but
Yeah, you get exclusive
$39.99 with all
deals. You
Game
get
Pass.
exclusive offers.
Yeah, that's what I mean, deals. Yeah. So I guess that's a benefit to it, but then not really many people do that. And
Yeah.
then if it leaves the Game Pass, it's more likely going to go back up to the normal price.
Mm.
So you sort of have to think if you want it and get it, but then you don't think like that because in your mind, you're playing this game, you've downloaded it, it's the full thing. So you don't think, oh, I might as well buy it because you've actually already got it, but you don't. Do
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's the other side of it for me
you
is
miss
the
out. You miss
ownership
out.
side because you like once you bought the games, you know that you are going to own it for like as long as you can run it on what you've got. Like you have like an indefinite ownership of it. Because that's the other thing for me with things like Game Pass and Stadia especially. If those services go down, so do the games.
Yeah.
And what's to say, like that's one of the other major turnoffs for me with those sorts of services that have their own model independent. Is why I like GeForce Now, because GeForce Now is essentially think the technology of Stadia, but it uses your pre-existing
Right.
libraries. So things like Steam, like it gives you a system. It gives you a system to play it on rather than a platform to play it on. Does that make sense?
That's it. Yeah, that makes sense. That sense. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. That's it.
It's
Not
like to
me in
me,
that sentence. I
it's
tried
the
to say that.
superior Stadia. It hasn't got the design, it hasn't got the flair, but in terms of
Yeah.
actual functionality and just like friendliness to the consumer, like it respects the fact that I already have the Crew 2. It respects the fact that I already have
yeah.
it. So like it lets
I
me
love
play it. I don't need to buy it again.
That's to be fair. That works.
Yeah.
That works. But that then I don't know if I actually covered this in the last one, but that then makes me think of actually sort of similar to how Xbox are dealing with certain things at the moment, where you've got the enhanced versions of things.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm not going to go into it because I could talk about it for quite a while, but long story short, you either have some games that go, oh, you want an enhanced version? Here's the enhanced version. You're welcome. Thank you for buying it.
Yeah.
Or you have, thank you for buying the normal version. You want the enhanced version? Here's the enhanced version. It's just a little bit more, if that's okay. And it's like, that's just not fair. You've bought the game. You least expect the best from that game. Why are they trying to make bank out of what was already existing just for a graphics enhance? It's a bit, that's an entire thing. Like that's
I mean, I get it to an extent because there's still work to be done. Even something as simple as like up-resing textures and reshading. There's still work to be done. There's still developers behind it that need to be paid at the end of the day. So I get that to an extent.
But actually, one thing I have noticed as well with the enhanced stuff. So the enhanced things, someone has to have done that themselves, as you just said. Like people will have to be paid for doing that. So they will have to go back over what they've already done and go metaphorically with a pen, gone like, oh, let's do that bit, let's shade that in, a paintbrush sort of motion. So they're going to have to go and do that themselves. But then you've got on the Series X, you've got the auto HDR.
And like the upscaling,
yeah, and that auto HDR is AI based, so it just does it from computer. It just sort of does it as a server thing, and that you find sometimes is actually a lot better because it's not someone going into it and like missing that corner, and then that corner is now very visible because the rest of it's so glamorous.
Yeah,
you go, with the HDR, it's just going to go, this is all untextured. Let's start, and it just does it all, overhauls it all.
Yeah, but upscaling and auto like color balancing. That's a lot different from actually going in and redoing all the textures from the ground up. Like if you, it's like if you put a GameCube game or a PS2 game in 4K, it's just going to look like a sharper PS2 game. Like there's still going to be like really jaggy models. There's still going to be really muddy textures. So. Like it does make sense to a point. Like I get both sides on that one. But
I do. I do. But it's just like I noticed when I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I just saw and like it wasn't even rendered. It was so bad. It was so bad. And then I went back on another game, and I was like, actually, for a game that came out a little while ago, this is looking a lot more stunning than I remember. Yeah. But then you click it, and it's only all HDR. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So just got me thinking, and I think that's the only sort of plausible assumption I can come to, really, because that's what it is. I have not any fact to back it up. It's just something I think I've observed.
Yeah, but that comes to the other side of it. Is like why I probably won't jump on the streaming service bandwagon. Is like I want to preserve the games that I have. It's like I said, I've got that very specific library of games that I play and games that I love to bits, and I want to preserve that. It's like if the service goes down, like if Stadia decided to shut down in 2022, which let's be honest, that's feasible. That's feasible. That's the scary part.
It's not unlikely. Yeah, it can happen.
That doesn't seem out of the picture, which is quite a scary thing.
Because what if Google turn around and go, "Oh, thank you for the journey, guys. We're deciding to close down doors. The project of Stadia," because they might want to focus more on their phoneware or their techware and stuff like that. Oh yeah, to be fair, that could happen.
Yeah, that's not out of the realm of reality. That's the problem. It's that all of these people who have put X amount of money into their games are suddenly going to lose that library. They're going to completely lose it.
Unless they start dishing out physical copies.
Yeah, but with a streaming service like that's impossible without a physical copy. Without a physical device to put said copy into. That's the other thing. That's the problem.
Someone just receives a bulk box full of discs.
With a model like that, physical copies can't exist. But yeah, that's the other problem for me with these streaming services.
I didn't really think about that at all.
Yeah, it's like you want to preserve these experiences. It's like I literally yesterday, like I had a rough Monday. So literally yesterday, I just sat down and played Underground 2 for 2 hours. And it's...
nice one.
Yeah, because I own that game outright. That's not going anywhere. And it's like it got pulled from Origin. It got pulled from all of the online stores. And that's what scares me. It's that with these services like this, they're only there for a finite amount of time. Like for racing games, it's a little bit different because you've got vehicle licensing, which eventually runs out. So that's a slightly different scenario. True. It's like you've got a license for the Subaru BRZ, which only lasts 5 years, and then they have to pull it from the game, or like they have to pull the game entirely if all the licenses run out. But that sort of thing scares me.
Got the rest of the world that when people bought that game, Ubisoft published it, then they lost the licensing for it, so it got taken off the Xbox 360 store. Hasn't been available for over 12 years, and then all of a sudden,
and it just Ubisoft pops back into existence.
Oh, here's that game that you remembered, which is weird to think, like, what happened? And it does happen, and Stadia could indeed have that issue. But then that's why I bought the Xbox Series X and not the S. Because I don't want to keep it digital in case that thing happens. What if Xbox go, you know what, thank you for all your time, guys, but we're now officially cancelled. Not that's going to happen because that's where they want to go.
But hypothetically,
all purchases, all the Game Pass, thank you for the journey. We're not going to continue with it. Games of gold, stuff like that. You still want to get your money's worth in these situations. You still want to get the best you can for the games, and the best option, in my opinion, for that is physical copies.
It's like you have a physical copy, you're not going to get that taken away from you.
It breaks, but that would be on your own fault. That's completely different.
But even so, that's by your own agency. Like, you have full control of that experience to an extent. While licensing is different, it showcases an identical problem that we have with these streaming services, is that you don't own it, you just own a license to access it.
Exactly. It's all access based. It's there is no someone else owns it. You know, the person that's the server that someone set up.
It's like Destiny 2 on Google Stadia. Google owns the game, but you own the license to your own character rather than a copy of the game, and that messes with me. Weird. That really doesn't gel with me.
God, who would have thought, eh? Deep. That's some deep thinking, but
we're philosophical today.
Wow, completely. And it's sort of the shame because it's the future. It's the future of gaming.
It's like the technology is amazing. Like, the technology isn't gonna go anywhere because, like I said before, in the ideal conditions, it's a magical experience. It's a whole new world, and it's why if anyone is in the situation where they can take advantage, please, if you're listening, try GeForce Now. Honestly, if you have a Steam account and you have a decent internet connection that can reliably stream video, try GeForce Now. You're gonna have fun with that one, George, aren't you?
God damn it.
With your I can sometimes keep up audio.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm in the blooming attic.
Look, this last episode took me a lot of editing. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying.
You did insane. The quality of it and everything of it is mad.
It's just 2.5 days.
Audio, 2.5 days, blooming worth it.
But anyway,
the audio cutouts is just so upsetting. But it's not awful. Like, you can still make out a lot of the time.
Yeah, like we said before, we're at the mercy of the situation, and we're mitigating it this time round. But I honestly do recommend to people, try GeForce Now, because it takes your pre-existing library and gives you essentially Google Stadia in terms of experience and technology, but far more user-friendly.
That's it. That is sick.
Like, that's the best of both worlds for me. Like, that's if this is the way the gaming industry is going to go, where you have you have streaming services rather than physical hardware. If this is the industry direction, if they do it like GeForce Now, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to be particularly happy because nothing can replicate like owning Forza Horizon 3 for me, for example.
Of course.
Better than Horizon 4. I will die on this hill, but that's another topic for another day. If that's the direction things are going to go, I'm okay with it. Like, I'll make peace with it because that's the best example so far.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
If worst comes to worst, you've still got umpteens amount of retro consoles. It's like, what, you've got that Game Boy now, you got the Genesis.
Yeah, that's true. I see. I'm planning ahead, really, aren't I? It's
truly,
these weren't purchases.
Thinking to the future by buying the past.
Yeah, these are investments to buying for the future of how gaming is going to become difficult to keep on top with. So if there's a massive week where they've gone, no one can play video games now, the servers are unavailable, I'll be set. Come round mine.
You'll be set come the video game apocalypse.
Literally, I will be. I'll be all golden for that. and I'm not complaining.
But yeah, any closing
Yeah.
words on that one, dude? Any closing words? Because for me, it's just don't get Google Stadia, get GeForce Now. I
Yeah.
honestly recommend it.
I think, yeah. I mean, to be fair, is for me, just keep it as digital as lack of digital as you can. Really, like try and just respect the fact that if Blockbuster died, as we established last episode, the gaming industry will sort of follow in disc versions. If you want to make sure that you own the game, just buy the disc. You'll actually save yourself a lot of money.
Mm.
That's how I see it, and it's a shame because I don't do. But it's something you just really people need to start doing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my closing thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Buy discs.
Buy discs. Very, very hot take. Buy discs.
Buy discs. Do it. Buy the discs.
Yeah, like this.
Buy CDs.
I
Don't
see
use
this being the
Spotify.
future direction of the industry, but honestly, it's give GeForce Now a try because it is free and there is a higher quality tier, but you owe it to yourself to give it a try at least.
I definitely think I'll be giving it a go. See if my internet can handle it.
Yeah, see if your internet. We'll see if it can handle audio first.
My Harry Potter attic room. It might. It'll be all right.
It might. Sure. But yeah, that's gonna do it for some... like, Harry Potter attic room. That just sunk in for me.
What can I say? I live in the Ritz. No.
Massive thanks to the supporters on screen right now, and we will catch you in the next episode. Ta-ta for now.